Hi, welcome to Real Estate Done Right. I'm Shanon Tully. I've created a list of the things that I feel are most important for you to consider when hiring a real estate agent to represent you in the sale of your home. Let's get started. Okay, number one on the list is past experience. This is probably one of the most important things to consider. Obviously, the more experience your agent has, the more likely they're going to come into situations where they know how to handle them and they know what to expect. That's probably going to give you a higher level of service. The other thing that's important to consider is whether or not your agent is full-time or part-time. The reason that's important is because the real estate industry is always changing, especially in the areas of technology. If your agent is full-time, it's much more likely that they're going to be familiar with these new and different aspects of marketing a home, especially when it comes to online marketing and the different apps that are being developed all the time. Professionalism. You want to make sure that the agent that you're hiring has a current and active license. You can look up their license number through your state's Department of Professional Regulation to see if there are any disciplinary actions pending against them. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem, but it's something that you should be aware of if you're going to be hiring someone to represent you in this important transaction. Also, you want to consider whether or not the agent that you're talking with has any special certifications or designations in any areas of specialty. This might be particularly important to you depending on the type of transaction that you're about to embark upon. Any agent that you're interviewing should have plenty of references and testimonials they can share with you. It's a good idea to contact them too. That way, in case there was something that they didn't want to put in a written response, you might be able to elicit that information from them personally. Number 4 are the agent's statistics. You want to look at things like average days on market for the properties that they listed, or the list price compared to the sale price of the property. When an agent lists a home for sale, they're hoping to get the price right at market value. Therefore, if you check the sale price versus the list price, you're hoping to see something that falls within 5%. If they're able to accomplish that, they're pricing the properties pretty well. Number 5 is the standing of the brokerage in the community. It's important that the brokerage that you select have a good reputation in the community. You can find that information out again by looking at reviews online or by talking to people in the community. If the brokerage has a lot of work in the community, people are going to be talking about it and you'll be able to find some real responses from people who've had experience with the brokerage. You also want to look at things like the volume and the number of transactions that the brokerage has achieved. Where do they stand in comparison to other brokerages in the community? Try to find one that is performing fairly well. Number 6 is, does the agent you're interviewing have a strong online presence? Do they have a website? Do they have a YouTube channel? Are they writing or contributing to a blog in some way? The reason that's important is because you don't know where your buyer is coming from. Perhaps the buyer of your home is going to see them on their social media and tell someone else about it, and that's how you find your buyer. It's just important to be out there so that the world can see what the agent is contributing to the real estate community. It also demonstrates their commitment and their expertise in the area of real estate. Okay, number 7 is the marketing plan, and it's probably the thing that you've been most wanting to hear about, right? Ultimately, the marketing plan is what gets your home sold. You want to ask the agent, what are the components of your marketing plan? What are you going to do to get my home sold? And then compare those plans with all the other agents you're interviewing. The thing that I think is most important in any marketing plan for almost any home is getting professional photographs taken. Professional photographs make your home look bigger, better, and brighter. And the reason it's so important is because 90%, almost 90% of home buyers are looking at your home online. They're looking at the images, and those images need to captivate the buyer so that the buyer will make an appointment to see your home. So really, you can think about the photographs as the first showing of your home, and when somebody actually makes an appointment, that's the second showing. You also want to look to see, are the marketing plans unique to my property in some way? An example of that might be if you live in a home that's on a big lot, or if it's next to a lake or a beautiful park, then a drone photograph might be just what your marketing plan needs to push your home to the top of the buyer's list to go see. Communication and follow-up. How do you want your agent to communicate with you, and can the agent that you're interviewing accommodate that? Some people want to know everything right away. If somebody comes in to view your home, you may not be able to wait a week to find out what they thought. You might want to know immediately. Can the agent accommodate your needs? That's very important, because as you work through the weeks that it takes possibly to get your home sold, you want to know that that communication is going to be sufficient and that you're going to be satisfied getting the information in a timely fashion. Another important question to ask is, how many active clients is the agent working with? This goes to their capacity to be able to provide the amount of service you expect. The other thing you should keep in mind is the agent a sole practitioner, or does he or she work as part of a team? If you're someone who doesn't mind talking to 3 or 4 different people at various points in the transaction, that may be great for you. But if you're someone who wants more continuity, then a sole practitioner may be the way to go for you. Okay, the final thing on my list to consider is, I want you to ask yourself, is this agent somebody that I can work with potentially for 3 to 6 months? If the answer is no, then you should move on to another agent. But if the answer is yes, then definitely put them in your pool to make your final selection. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And if you'd like more real estate tips, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on my website, which is www.sellrealestateDownersgrove.com. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.